Three, two, one. Welcome, degenerates to Degenerates Clubhouse, episode 120 something, 124. Um, Aaron is not not in his usual sorts today. I don't know why. I don't know what's up. He's tired. I assume he's tired from being out late last night.
Indeed.
We were up doing some fun. We'll talk more about what we did last night, but that and building his house must have wiped the poor young man out. Uh, So without further ado, we're gonna just jump right into this maddening episode, into a wonderful story of
Florida man, causing mayhem when he can. Driving drunk as a rule, alligators in his pool. Look out, here comes the Florida man. Oh!
Hilton Manor's mayor.
Nice.
Is that a good one?
Where is Wilton
That's
Manors?
somewhere in Florida. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but where? There's a lot. It's very very different. Like Florida is either it's like ritzy beach communities. There's like Florida Bama, which is basically just like deep South Alabama.
Let's see. Let's see what good old Googleage Maps says.
You've got many different flavors of fuckery in Florida.
This looks to be on the east coast of
So
almost the very bottom of the panhandle.
the panhole.
So it looks like to just by my map, it looks like to be like maybe, I don't know, 60 miles north of Miami.
And by the coast.
Yeah, by the coast,
Okay.
southernmost part of the Miami coast there. Since Halloween 2012, Boyd Corbin has not kept quiet. On that evening 2 years ago, the Wilton Manor's resident donned an ironic KKK costume, grabbed a tiki torch, and went to the epic Georgie's Alibi holiday party. By the time the night was over, Corbin had gotten into a brawl with a drag queen, a scuffle that would eventually land him in criminal court facing felony aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a tiki torch.
Pause.
Okay?
Do you feel that's being a little generous?
What?
They said he donned a quote ironic like KKK costume. Can you really don a KKK costume ironically?
If it's Halloween, yes, but outside of Halloween, probably not.
Do you think
I don't
the-
think it's a good idea to wear it even as a Halloween costume. I'm not saying it's okay, but I think I mean, if you're going to a party and you're comfortable with everybody in attendance to like, hey, Armand is a
he
jackass.
clearly wasn't comfortable
Yeah.
with everybody in attendance.
Mhm.
But separately, I mean, I think there's certainly a line, and that question of like, ooh, could like a white dude go in brown face and be Aladdin? That one, I mean, I think we've decided after a little bit of debate, like, no, don't do that, white folks. But I didn't even think there would have to be any thought process like, no, you do not wear a KKK costume. Like, there's just a hard no. That shouldn't have been
Like,
complicated.
you definitely don't go to like an all black college and wear that. You know what I mean? Like just kind of trying to be.
I don't think you go anywhere and wear that.
I don't know.
There's only one reason to wear a KKK costume,
I guess.
and it's like if you're. I think if you are someone who is fuck all racist and you're trying to send out all kinds of like white pride signals and you're like, ooh, it's Halloween, I can get away with this shit.
Yeah.
Guys, it's just
hold on. How about this? What if a girl decided to wear a sexy KKK costume?
That would be
Would that be-
racist and hilarious, but like it's still not okay.
I don't know. I think a woman will, if not already has, but a woman will eventually try to pull something off like that, like a sexy Nazi.
So okay, so here's the one where it gets really murky. What if it's a really sexy KKK costume, but it's just like a hot ass black woman wearing the sexy KKK? That just like breaks your brain a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
And you're like, wait, what? But It's like, oh, she's smoking hot.
Is that
But
okay?
but no, it's KKK. Oh, look at those curves. Baby got back. Oh no, but she's black. I can't like that's a little bit too much. I think that would.
But does that make it okay? Is that are you?
I don't think so. I think KKK costumes just across the board, no bueno.
Okay. All right. I guess as long as the playing field is even, I suppose it's okay. So
Well, that's I brought that up because that's a situation where I don't think the playing field should be even,
okay.
but there's certain things that just it just transcends. It's like that's like the like can white people say like a hard R? Like no, but black people can maybe like that one. That I think you have to take into context the history of our nation. KKK costumes, no.
Well, let's go back to your example. What if it's a hot black chick?
Wearing the costume,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I still don't. I just think you just don't wear KKK costumes. I think that's it.
So by your logic, black people shouldn't drop the N bombs either.
No, that's but it's different, Mondo, because not all situations are exactly the same. And like I said, context matters.
Okay.
Mondo, why do you keep trying to make it black or white?
I'm not
Shades are gray.
sure. Ever since this young man has
You
been
might even say there are 50 of them.
oh, fuck that movie and book, whatever.
But what if in the sequel there was a hot black woman wearing a sexy KKK costume? Would you then watch?
I would watch it whether it was a movie or not,
Okay.
or a book.
Mondo's just here for black women in KKK costumes.
Sexy,
Apparently.
I'm all for black sexy women. Ever since this young man's been a constant presence in town, making endless speeches about the injustice of his case at city commission meetings and handing out packets of information. But his one issue assault on the town's political establishment has grown. Corbin is now running for mayor. I've knocked on like 90% of the doors in Wilton Manors. Corbin tells New Times.
I bet I can tell you which 10% he didn't knock on.
Yep.
Piece of shit.
I've been doing about 2 hours a day for the last month, 3 hours on weekends. I get a real good feel for what's going on in the city.
Wait, real quick. How do you spell the name of this place? I have to do a quick check.
Wilton Manors.
Wilton?
Yeah.
Wilton Manors. Okay.
Boyd's own case breaks down to what he says is an inaccurate perception among law enforcement that he was an aggressor in the fight with the drag queen. Actually, Boyd says he was just defending himself, and in November, he's scheduled to go on trial on the assault charge. In the meantime, Corbin has thrown his hat in the race to unseat current Wilton Manors Mayor Gary Resnick. Realtor Doug Belvins is the other challenger. Corbin admits that his run for office stems from his criminal case, but the 46-year-old longshot, who has less in his campaign piggy bank than anyone else in the race, has gone all in on his campaign. Corbin's website lays out his detailed thoughts on a variety of issues, from parking to crime to taxes. He says his shoe leather politicking has put him in touch with the real issues facing the town. If voters cast their ballots depending on the solutions offered to the city's issues, such as crime, home invasions, auto burglaries, sex in Collahatchee Park, parking, and wasting taxpayers' money, then I will win hands down. He says the incumbent thinks everything is hunky-dory. Corbin is equally sanguine about his upcoming court date. I'm very confident, but we'll see what happens. Pretty good Florida man.
So real quick, I pulled up the demographics of Wilton Manors.
I'm guessing it's white.
Shocking, 85.5% white. What do you think the 10% of doors he did knock on were?
Yeah.
Coincidence? I think it was probably more about, I don't know, 14.5%.
What do you think any of those people that he did knock on doors were drag queens? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't. I don't think it was based on their sexual preference. I think there were certain neighborhoods he didn't go to.
Yeah, I get it. I feel you. Moving on from Florida man, we are now going to the world of AskReddit. Now, these questions, again, little to no prep on both of our behalves, but I found these Reddit questions amusing. So we're going to go to Reddit question number 1. Aaron, when, if, have you ever been feared for your life? Why? Were you ever afraid that, like, oh shit, like, I'm going to die?
I don't think so.
No? Really?
Nope.
That's interesting. I think I don't know, maybe just from where I was raised, I think that was like part of everyone had a story. Everyone had like this oh shit moment, like I almost got killed or something.
Yeah, I think there were moments like that, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't think I was ever like really afraid that I was gonna die like in the moment.
Yeah. Again, I think people in my neighborhood. I'm guessing that people in my neighborhood, there's a good percentage of people that have had at least one story. I um
I
I
don't know. I mean, Mondo, like this is what I'm saying. Like I had a knife pulled on me in Cleveland, but I just wasn't. I don't know. I just wasn't afraid I was gonna die.
all right. So Aaron really thinks he is Superman. Good to know.
No, I think I was just kind of drunk when it happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow. I've had a cop pull a gun on me, but I wasn't afraid for my life. I was like, "Oh, a gun or whatever. Pull the trigger, idiot."
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Fucking cops.
um. So I date. We're when you're in junior high, you date. You have girlfriends and all. It's like they're not really serious. They're fucking little kiddie relationships. But I had this one girlfriend that let's just say it didn't end very well. Even at whatever it was, 14 or no 12 or 14 or whatever age that was in middle school. Um, Fast forward to several years, she'd always held on to this kind of like this weird grudge towards me. Let me backtrack. She she was raised by two parents that didn't like the father was abusive, alcoholic, like beat the shit out of his wife or her mom. So this girl saw that as I assume as a norm to like relationships of marriages and whatnot. So again, fast track to she and I were kind of dating, sort of kind of not really at that age. Years later, she's dating this like hardened criminal. Like we were probably at that age like 16, 15, 16, like just in the first couple years of high school, and she's dating like this 22-year-old like guy that had been in and out of jail several times, all tatted out, thugged out. And I just only imagine, I'm making an assumption that he would probably beat the shit out of her, you know, just because that's what she thought was like normal. It's sad to say what she was. Anyways, because she and I had once dated and had like a kind of a tumultuous end. I imagine she probably told a story or two to
Mondo,
this.
what did you do?
Nothing. No, we just
You
it's
just said it was tumultuous. So what
you're,
happened?
you're 12 and you break up and people get pissy
How
and
did you break up?
nothing. It wasn't that there was no major dramatic thing.
So where was the tumult?
Okay, so at that age you break up and it's kind of like that petty, like who broke up with who, that kind of like that. It's just petty childish shit.
So who broke up with who?
I don't remember. I don't know the details. I don't remember the details well enough to know what
There's holes in this story, but let's
Sure.
continue.
But in any case, she may have told stories of her and I and how whatever it ended bad or whatever. And so this guy was like, he like had threatened me. He's like trying to like punk me in the middle of like after coming out of after school or something like that. And anyway, he's like, meet me. It's kind of one of those things like meet me at the playground. He's like, meet me at the field at this time. Blah 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 blah. Come by yourself. I'm like, I'm not gonna go. He's like, I just want to talk. Sure, you just want to talk. So I didn't go because I'm not dumb, and I know this guy's a fucking criminal, a violent criminal. So I didn't go to this park, but in lieu of me not going, this other older guy who had, I guess, previous beefs with that same kind of gangster guy, did show up, kind of like not really, but sort of like in defense of me. I didn't ask him to go. He was like, "No, I'm gonna go handle him or something." I forget how exactly that conversation went. So he goes in lieu of me. Sure enough, that guy that went got like jumped by a couple guys. He got his ass beat. I think he went to the hospital, but it wasn't like a long term. It was like in and out kind of a hospital thing. In any case, so had I gone, who's to say that there's and then there was after that that guy had threatened to like if he sees me, he's gonna shank me and blah 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 blah. So there was probably a good several weeks, if not months, where I was like scared to like. So I lived like 3 blocks away from my high school. I'd walk to high school, and yeah, I was fearful of my life because I thought this cholo gangster thug dude would just randomly pull over, pull a fucking weapon on me. I remember there was I had a couple of friends that lived like right next to this, even closer to the high school than I did, and they'd be like, here's a screwdriver. Like, take it with you. Don't like, don't walk to and from school without some kind of weapon. So yeah,
Maybe he just really did want to talk to you.
sure he did. I'm sure
And
that's.
he was so mad that you stood him up
Mhm.
that they fought. But he just be like, "Yo, man, like
He really wanted a one-on-one peacefully, right?
I think we gotta hash this out. Feelings have been hurt."
Apparently, that dude knocked that girl up, and then either during her pregnancy or after her pregnancy went to jail for I don't know how many years. Again, part of me is like sad for the whole situation for her. For she was
He was like, "Hey, if I'm not around, I need you to look out
to take care of my
to my
kid.
son.
Yeah,
I would like you to be the godfather.
yeah. It was actually
So we have to mend these bridges."
it was
And
actually
you
a
just
daughter.
and then you just didn't show up, and he was just furious.
It was actually a
Poor
a,
guy.
a baby girl is what they had. By now, she's probably like fucking 20 years old. I say baby girl, but yeah, it's crazy shit, man. Crazy time when you live in SoCal and especially certain neighborhoods. I mean, it's sad to say, but it's pretty commonplace that this becomes normal to feel your life at like in danger. Yeah, but that's just part of growing up in Los Angeles and Southern California, certain parts of Southern California. You can't say that in San Diego.
Yeah. No, I was like, I only lived in neighborhoods like that when I was grown.
Didn't you say Philadelphia was kind of rough though?
Yeah, but not where I mean, yes, there were extremely rough parts of Philadelphia, but not where I lived.
Mm.
I mean, like we lived in Center City. Like you'd walk out in the morning, and there'd just be like a bunch of guys sitting on your stoop and stuff like that. But I don't remember ever feeling like in danger. Like it wasn't like we were in one of the really bad neighborhoods. Um, that was only when I was like real young.
What's interesting is that like Montebello, like the city I grew up in. I was born in Whittier, but the city I kind of was raised mostly in wasn't the roughest of neighborhoods, and it was still pretty bad. But like I never lived like in East LA or Compton or Crenshaw or all these kind of like for sure notorious like. But yeah, Montebello was bad enough, and and now it's worse. Whittier is really bad. I'm a member of the Whittier, whatever it is, um, community watch like Facebook group or some shit. Like I'm not that I'm a member, but I'm a member in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So every now and again, on my Facebook feed, I see what's going on in the corner of this and this, and it's just like crime in Whittier's gotten like ridiculous. I wouldn't say just in Whittier. I'm sure most of Southern California, probably most of California, has just gotten shittier and shittier.
Yeah, I mean, there's bad neighborhoods just about everywhere, but
Yeah.
it's certainly by degree. I mean, I forget how the whole thing went, but there's this video that I remember from years and years ago. It's called the hastily put together Cleveland tourism video,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just all this sort of like our waterfront looks like a Scooby Doo ghost town. Our economy is based on LeBron James, and there's one line in that song where it's like, "Don't slow down in East Cleveland, or you'll die, or you'll die."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's where I lived." Like, oh, that's accurate. And I've talked about that a little bit on the pod, but yeah, I was in what I call like the holy trinity of fucking ghetto living. We lived in a 2-story, so we lived above a drug dealer, directly next to a halfway house, and across the street from a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Nice.
It was just like
hell yeah.
it's like the Bermuda Triangle of fucking ghetto, and there were always people rolling up into our driveway that it would then go into our downstairs neighbor's house for 15 minutes and then leave.
And then
Like,
go to KFC.
I think that probably happens sometimes. Yeah, depending
before after.
depending on what merchandise they bought. Yeah.
Some of the Redditors' answers to that question. User It All Depends 99 writes, when I got caught in a riptide while stupidly swimming alone in the ocean. Big contrast of fears for their life for my story in that one. Like, I almost drowned by swimming. Anyway. User, oh, that's a fucking long one. Fuck you, you could eat shit. User IJS Kind writes, X was driving and a mouse walked out in front of the car. Oh wait, sorry, it said moose.
It's a little different.
Yeah, a mouse? I don't get it. Okay, a moose. All right, cool. Getcha. Yeah, don't get into an accident with a mouse.
Yeah, but mooses are,
Meese?
are enormous.
Yeah, they're huge.
That would just fuck you up. Like a deer will fuck you up, but a moose, like forget about it. You're done.
User 24 Crazy Carrots writes, me and a group of friends were threatened by a group of lads with knives when we were younger, so that was interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I had the face to face with that bear. I've told that story, right?
Yeah, with the bear, and then he thought it was, and later fucking killed some people, a couple hours away or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was that bear, but yeah.
Well, it could have been. That was it for Reddit question. Some of these other answers for that question were very long. They're as long as my answer, if not longer. Aaron, Reddit question number 2. What can you say before sex and before a fight?
It's the Bruce Buffer line.
Yeah.
I mean, you can really any of it, or the Michael Buffer. The let's get ready to rumble. That one.
Yeah.
Or who? It's one of the refs. I can't remember. There's one of the MMA refs who like was trying to have like a little catchphrase, and he'd be like, "Bring it on, come on."
Yeah. That was Hearns. No, I don't remember his name. Mills, Judge Mills. I think.
Sure. There's really any of the. I mean, anything that a ringside announcer says like to start a fight. I mean, I think they all apply.
If you were from my part of SoCal, you would say something like, "Well, suck my dick." Like if you're about to get into a fight, you suck my dick. You can say that before sex, right?
Why would that's just weird?
There's a lot of like kind of almost
how do the kids say? I feel like maybe that's a little bit sus.
Yeah. Yeah, no, people would get like, like the guy when guys get like nose and nose, and then like you punch me first, punk. Like they get like kind of like they front and they say things to kind of try to
they get real close. I always that was one of the reasons I wouldn't get too uncomfortable in those because I was always like, oh, perfect. I don't really know how to like throw hands too well, but you just did all the work for me. Like you can't punch me. You're right up in my face, and I can drop you on your head anytime you want.
Yeah,
dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, but
no, what you were saying that like, dude, suck my dick. That actually, there's a Key and Peele sketch, where it's basically like kind of like a Mike Tyson analog, and they're doing like the pre-fight press conference, and he's like, the guy's like, I'm gonna fuck him up and blah blah, and then the Jordan Peele is doing Mike Tyson. He's like, well, I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna he's using like Mike Tyson verbiage where he's trying to sound smart. I'm gonna bash him with ferocities and I'm gonna punch him furiously, and then I'm gonna fuck him in the ass. And the guy's like, yeah, whatever. That's just Laquavius being Laquavius. I don't, and I feel bad now because I just made up like the most stereotypical black name, but I feel like the Key and Peele also did that. and then the guy's like, no, I'm gonna sock you in your face. I'm gonna beat you until you're black and bloody, and then I'm gonna take you on a candlelight dinner. I'm gonna wine and dine you, right? We're gonna have a nice Chianti. We're gonna sip. We're gonna tell stories. We're gonna laugh all night, and then I'm gonna fuck you in the ass. And it just like keeps progressing from there until like it flashes forward, and they're like a couple at a dinner party like years later.
Yeah,
it's Key and Peele. I mean, yes, they were I think just hitting on quite directly some of the weird vibes that go on pre-fight. Apparently also in Southern California, street fights too.
Yeah. Some of the users answers to that on Reddit. User Heat Flamesman 24 writes, this won't take long. User the Grumpy One writes, suck my dick. Hey, look, I was right. User Lawfulness number 757 writes, your ass is mine. That's a good one. Your ass is mine. Your ass belongs to me. Oh shit. No way. User Vlad Chirilla writes, I think I can handle 5 men. Jesus. If you're in a room with 5 dudes, I don't know how you want to say that. User effective _ afflicted writes, say hello to my little friend.
That's a good one.
Okay. Last one I'll read because these are all kind of like short line ones.
Have you ever watched Scarface?
Yeah, bajillions of times.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. User rare _ cause _ 1735 writes, "Get ready for the worst night of your life."
That
I don't think you want to say that to someone
No,
when
that-
you're about to make sexy time.
no, it doesn't. No,
I mean, it's something you could say, but do you want to say that?
no, you
No.
don't.
You don't want to say that. I think it'd be a turnoff for a lady, a gal. That was it for AskReddit. And to wrap up the episode, we are, hold on, let me see how long we're in. We're only about 25 minutes in, so we have a lot of time to fill. We could just either cut it short or bullshit for a while. In lieu of binge or purge, because we don't have any episodes or any shows that we've both watched.
I mean, we do, but
Kind of, sort of.
what do you mean?
Well, we could talk about these shows that we've watched, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. In any case, last night, today's Sunday. Last night was Saturday, April 29th. We went to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 41 here in Broomfield, Colorado. Something that kind of annoyed me was that they kept calling it Denver, and I understand why. Because if you say Broomfield, Colorado, people are like, where the fuck is Broomfield, Colorado? If they say Denver, Colorado, it sounds more, I guess, appealing and recognizable to the people watching on TV.
Yes,
All that stuff. So, but
definitely not in Denver proper.
no, it's probably, would you say, like 45 minutes northwest,
Mm,
something like that. 30
from,
minutes.
from like downtown Denver, yeah, maybe. I mean, it took me 30 minutes to get there.
Yeah,
but-
so maybe 30-ish minutes from Denver.
yeah, I mean, Lakewood's I think a little bit closer, but yeah, certainly not in Denver proper.
So this fight card got announced several months back and featured a lot of like former UFC caliber, in some cases even UFC vets on the card. And when I had mentioned it to Aaron a few months back, I was like, "Hey, Bare Knuckles coming to Broomfield. Do you want to go?" You were like, "Yes, absolutely, yes, I'm down." Or I forget what your response was. We went to it. What was your experience like? What do you think?
I mean, I'll put it this way: if I had been on my own, I would have noped out of that probably in the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Let's just walk through that the whole thing. I mean, so first of all, it was in the First Bank Center in Broomfield. Pretty like nice venue, like the venue itself. I mean, I think capacity was like 6,500.
Sure.
Felt bigger than that. It was really packed. Downtown Broomfield, not really set up for event parking for 6,500 people.
No.
So like, I mean, I was coming straight from to pouring like concrete footer. So it's just, like 5 hours of like lifting 80-pound bags of cement and then shoveling the cement in buckets and anyhow, but it was pretty tired when I got there. And I'm just trying to find parking. Like there's basically just one giant parking structure for the whole event. I mean, there really wasn't street parking. I mean, I was looking for auxiliary parking where like maybe I could like walk, and there was none to be found. So like me and these 3 other cars were just on a quest for about 15 minutes trying to find level 4. Because like when I came in, I rolled down the window. There was like one person in the whole lot working. I'm like, where are we supposed to go? And she's like, "Oh, just go to level 4." So we're just driving around, and there got to a point where like we could see it, we just didn't know how to get up there. So it was literally just like 15 minutes trying to find level 4 parking. To Broomfield's credit, it was free, I guess, sort of in a way. I mean, they didn't charge us money for it, so that was good. So there was that. And then like walking, like even like finally like got to park and then got out of the lot. I'm like just walking the event. I'm like, dude, I'm exhausted. I mean, I felt like I was falling asleep before I even got in the building. And then I thought, fortunately, and if I could undo one thing probably about the whole night, it would have been this: was there was a sponsor that they kept trying to promote.
Bucked up.
Exactly. You already know it. Let's get bucked up. And Mono, what was bucked up or whatever the fuck it was
It was
called?
like an energy drink with the shape of like the silhouette of like a buck, but the silhouette was filled in with the like the American flag colors, like the stars and stripes, and it was kind of
It was like could we design the most like stupid stereotypical sponsor
yeah.
that we possibly could for really the only way it could be more stereotypical for a BKFC event was if it had the buck with the American flag and the buck was holding like an AK-47.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna send them a marketing note. I'm gonna email their marketing report.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, what about this?
Add a gun.
But so they had one of those like little promotional trucks outside, and they were giving away bucked up. And I was like, dude, I had thought about trying to stop and like get a drink or something caffeinated at like a
Mhm.
gas station, but I was running late and then parking took so long. I was like, well, maybe I'll just get something when I get inside the venue.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, oh, perfect. They're giving away bucked up energy drink. And then there
Was it who gave it to you?
like I said, they had like one of those promotional trucks, and there was
Right.
like 3 girls doing like
Okay,
the,
yeah.
here's
I just
samples."
my question was, were they hot chicks or were they like dudes by that time? Because earlier on it was like 100% not unnatural, like a lot of plastic in these bodies. I mean, I imagine they do work out, but there was for sure plastic in each and every one of these girls. But they had very comic book heroine-esque bodies. Like they were just drawn, like they were
I think it was probably the same girl. There was one of them who wasn't. That was the one who gave it to me. But yeah, that was a mistake. Drinking bucked up energy drink.
probably tons of sugar in it.
Uh, it wasn't even I mean, yeah, the sugar not the greatest, but I think it was just way too much caffeine for what was it like? Probably like 7 at night by the time I had it.
Uh-huh. Did you get a whole can, or did they give you just like a sample of it, or how did that work? I never got any of that.
They had both, so I didn't drink a whole one. I drank about half of one.
Mm.
I was like, and they did have like little almost like shot glasses of them, but yeah, that I think I should have just steered clear of bucked up energy drink altogether.
Hey, Aaron, I forgot to mention to you, we're now being sponsored by Bucked Up Energy.
It was amazing. The smooth, natural flavors that the bucked up energy girls were smoking hot, and she said her favorite color was cherry lime because it reminded her of her lip gloss.
So okay, so you were jacked up on Mountain Dew because you had half of a Bucked Up Energy drink.
So there was that, and then getting into the venue, not too bad. I mean, there's a bit of a line even at that point.
Yeah.
And then going through security, like I had like my like tiny little pocket knife that like I just use when I have to like cut straps on like lumber or something. And they're like, oh, but you can't bring that in. And I was like, what? Dude, like what am I gonna fucking do with it? Okay. So I was like, I went, and there were rocks, like a little like rock landscaping thing, probably like 30 yards away from the entrance. And I was like, I'm gonna hide it here and hope I can find it again. I feel like by the time I come out and it's dark, I give myself a 10% chance of finding this fucking knife. But I'm like, it is what it is, because at that point I was not walking all the way back to level 4 of the parking structure. I was like, there's no way. I mean, I like I said, I was very, very tired. Just walking there, I felt like physically very, very heavy. Like so hit it, and they're like, okay, you can go in. So that part, not the best, but I mean, I can't complain too much about that. And then going in, I think that was obviously like personnel that was hired through a staffing company.
Yes.
Like they definitely didn't work there regularly.
No.
Did not have a really iota of interest in like being helpful.
Yeah. They didn't know where anything like the seating was or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it was the funniest part. I was like, I had to ask like 5 people where the seats were.
Yeah.
Because we were in section 2,
right,
which was floor level.
Uh-huh.
And so like it wasn't really clearly marked either.
No.
So And the funniest part was like the section 2 was like directly in front of where I walked in.
Mhm.
Nobody knew where it was.
Yeah.
And like the funniest part was I finally got one of the, maybe he did work there more because he was like a security guard looking guy, like in uniform. And this was like once I had gone on the floor, I'm like, dude, where's section 2? And he's like, it's right here, literally right next
Like
to us.
10 feet away.
And like he steps back and he was standing probably 6 feet away from you. I'm like, oh, okay. there was the seats and sat down. I don't know if it was different from your vantage point. Like I was having a lot of trouble just seeing anything that was going on.
Yeah. So I gave you the end seat because I knew you'd have to get up and sit down, like for your back and neck stuff. So I gave you the end seat for that, but also figured it might even give you a better vantage point. But the way the seats were, like that section was at a weird angle.
Yeah.
Where I knew that well there's supposed to be a walkway, and I thought you'd be able to see down like the walkway, but that was not the case.
Well, that's also part of it was, and this goes back to the event staff. Like there were, I think, maybe 3 very half-hearted attempts over the course of the night to get people to actually sit in their seats.
Yeah.
But for really the whole event, there was just a bunch of like random people like
Just
milling
standing
about,
around, yeah.
standing in the aisle, like, and had it not been for that, I think my original comment about noping out of the event, wouldn't have been made. But there was one guy where like I still was trying to figure out like where the fuck he was supposed to be, but he was standing next to me, and that motherfucker kept coughing. He's like right over my left shoulder, and he was just like coughing through the whole event. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, I hope this is allergies or just there like kind of like weird. I don't know if it was like smoke from their like fog machines or
Yeah,
whatever.
they had like fog machines coming out of the posts in the actual ring, like around the
Yeah.
ring. It was like, and yeah.
So like I felt like my throat getting a little bit dry. So I was like, dude, I hope it's just from that. But that was the point where I would have been like, you know what? If I was on my own, I'd just been like, you know what, fuck this. I'm good. Like I'm either gonna get in a fight with this guy trying to get him back to his seat, or I think I'll just leave.
So I probably should have looked closer to like the actual fight start times, but Bare Knuckle's website doesn't really have a lot of good information.
No.
The only thing the ticket said was doors open at 4:30. So I got there like at 4:40 or 4:45. Didn't realize that they weren't actually letting anybody in their seats till about 5:30-ish. So I kind of was just standing around for 45 minutes. I mean, I went and had a hot dog and a soda or a water,
Well, there was a lot of confusion though, like because I just earlier in the day had Googled like what was it, BKFC 51 or something like
Yeah,
that?
41, yeah.
41 like start time. So like it was like Bloody Elbow or one of those sites had the start time at 7:00. But then the start kind of ended up being at 6. So like I think there was just confusion all around about when it actually started.
Yeah. And then so yeah, finally, we're allowed to our seats, and you're right, the if you had a picture of the floor map in advance, you could find where the seating thing was. But the one thing about having the mobile ticket is it doesn't have like a floor map seating thing for you to like look at so you can find your seat. So yeah, we have to rely on the people there, the ushers, to kind of help us find seats, and they were no help. The only way I found my seat was because there's a piece of tape, I kid you not, a piece of tape maybe 3 inches by 3 inches in front of our row that said section 2 row 13, and that was like only reason I knew where our seats were. But it was like on the floor, taped to the floor. So this is very, very bad. Kind of your opinion of the venue different from mine. I thought the venue sucked. The entrances and extra, I mean, the bathroom lines, the concession lines, everything was dog shit.
Bathrooms were rough.
Only one way in, one way out in all the restrooms. There's 4 men's and 4 female women's restrooms. I think there may have been some like gender neutral ones.
Yeah, there was a family bathroom.
Sure,
which there was just all dudes.
But when there's a line to get into the bathroom, getting out is just as much of a fucking headache than getting in. And every single time, well, I went to the bathroom twice during the whole thing. The lines are like 30 minutes. Like it sucked. It was just, I was not impressed by the venue. I would have thought that there'd be more concession stands, maybe like on the third floor, so that way those people up there can have their own
Yeah,
restrooms. And
I think I just probably had lower expectations.
probably
It was more I was just like, oh, this is like a pretty big venue. Like I did not care for the production that they put into it, but I appreciated like, oh look, they have like the smoke machine and the strobe lights, and like they
Yeah.
were really trying to do it up.
yeah,
I was like, hey, could you please not like choke us with your smoke machine?
yeah.
And the strobe lights, it was like cool for a second, but I don't know, it felt like every like 2 minutes, one of those fuckers would flash right in your face.
Right in your face.
I was like, dude, guys,
Yeah.
can you please tone this down?
Like
just a
you're
little bit?
blinded. You're blinded for a couple seconds every couple minutes if you're staring at the. Those are my biggest and only qualms. Outside of that, I actually enjoyed it.
Dude, you're all right about the bathrooms. Every time I went out, I would just walk around to see if there's any bathrooms open, and there's always a line, at
Yeah.
least like 8 people deep.
Again, there's only 4 restrooms, 4 men's restrooms for the entire. I think I overheard someone saying there was 8,000 people there. I know you said it's 6,000 capacity or whatever, but I overheard there's people walking around in suits and ties that look like they could be part of the promotion, like maybe an employee.
Mhm.
Like one of those guys was ushering some people, like, oh, can you believe it? 8,000 people are going to be here tonight. I don't know if it's 8, whatever.
Well,
But-
so let me get to the last thing
Sure.
of pitching, and then let's maybe try to talk about some of the good stuff, I
Sure.
guess. But no, the last I had the because I really wasn't like feeling well down towards the stretch, and I kind of thought like, man, I think I should just dip out. I didn't have the highest expectations for the main event. I was like, I don't this I think best case scenario, this might be kind of depressing, like Luke Rockhold just getting fucked up. So I was thinking about leaving after the co-main event.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which was probably the best fight of the night, right? I would say.
There was about 3 or 4 fights that I thought I enjoyed.
But I didn't. I was like, you know what? If I can made it this far, let's just see what happens. I think my exact words were like, I feel like I should leave, but this has a potential of being such a train wreck that I'm going to stick it out. And so unfortunately though, by the time I found my pocket knife, that took a minute. The funniest part was like I went, after the main event, I went outside, everyone's filing out, went to the rocks, and I'm like looking through the rocks. I found 2 other pocket knives.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Did
One-
you keep them?
No, I'm on like one was like a really big one.
Oh shit! You should have kept them.
I was like, I'm not trying to steal somebody's pocket knife. I just wanted mine.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, fuck. There's already a stream of people flowing into the lot. I was like, I'll just wait, see if Mondo comes out, because we talked about maybe getting something to eat. And all that, huge mistake, because by the time I actually went to my car on moon level of the parking structure, there was just no getting out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like it was moving slowly. It just wasn't moving. Like the same truck was just sitting behind me.
Yeah.
So I didn't get out of the parking structure until 11 at night.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess on the upside, it didn't really matter, because it wasn't like, oh fuck, like I can't go to sleep because I'm stuck in the parking structure. Because I was up until 5 a.m, jacked up on Bucked Up energy drink. Official sponsor of the Generous Clubhouse, Bucked Up.
My experience, for the most part, outside of those couple little things, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. The food in the venue wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. It's what you expect for a fucking concession stands. But I had one experience where I went and used the restroom, and then from the restroom I went to go get another beer, waited in line for like 30 minutes, and like right when I was about to go like be next to order a beer or order a beer and maybe a snack or something, a guy nudges me. He's like, "Hey man, can I cut in line and I'll buy you your beer?" I was like, yes, you can. So I got a free beer out of it. and then walked away. So that 30-minute in line was worth the $13 I saved for that beer, I guess. I was there. Aaron missed, I think, 3 or 4 of the prelim type fights. I saw all of them. Some of the prelim fights were kind of good. The very first one was literally just, it was a brawl. It was just guys just kind of like no combinations, just kind of let's just throw elbows and arms and hands, and it was no defense, no offense. It was just wild chaos. It ended pretty quickly. One of the other fights in the prelims lasted 7 seconds. They usually, like, you try to set up the hometown guy with someone he can win or someone he could beat, and this guy fought the hometown guy was a guy from Thornton. Thornton is probably halfway between Lakewood and Broomfield. It's just kind of, it's not a bad neighborhood. It's okay. It's whatever. And this Hispanic guy, I forget his last name, who looked like he could be a bruiser. He looked like he knew what he's doing. He was tatted up. His hairs were in cornrows, and he gets pieced up and tuned up in 7 seconds. I was like, oh yeah, you were outmatched, bud. Like, you weren't ready for a fight at all. A couple other good fights there. Some of the women fights were interesting. The Ferreira, Beck Rawlings, was it the third co-main or whatever of the fight? That one was interesting to watch. That Ferreira chick's pretty good. The Ben Rothwell fight was interesting as well.
Dude, that was the best. From where I stood, the best part of the entire night was just Ben Rothwell's like post-fight interview.
Yeah.
Ben Rothwell just like
going full WWE.
I mean, and you could tell like he's worked on it for a while.
Yeah.
He kind of got the one thing I was really disappointed is we didn't get the Ben Rothwell evil villain laugh. He did that in one UFC event where it was so people called it cringy and they were correct, but it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Where he just does it like like over the top, like exaggerated villain laugh. I loved it. And I was like, Ben, can we please get the evil villain laugh? But yeah, he was just full WWE promo style. I'm like, all right, like you do you, Ben Rothwell.
Before we, I guess, kind of gloss over, talk about the co-main and main events, there was a ton of either MMA or UFC fighters there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see Justin Gaethje, but apparently he was there. Conor McGregor was there.
Yeah, Justin Gaethje's just scoping at his future.
Probably, yeah. Donald Cerrone was there. John Dodson. Who else did we see? Diego Sanchez. I would probably easily a dozen people that I recognize as either UFC fighters or former UFC. We saw Ben Tynan. We saw Curtis Blades. So it really was, for it being kind of Broomfield, buck nowhere, Colorado. There was a lot of people in attendance. It was cool to see all these people. You said you saw pregnant Tisha Torres. I saw her back. I didn't really see her face, but I assume with the belly and the entourage that was like
full exposed midriff. Like,
yeah.
Just fucking rocking the pregnant belly.
Yep.
You get a Tisha Torres. And it was like white, right? It was like a really light.
I don't remember. I thought it was a different color. I don't remember.
It was whatever. It was like either like a super light blue or something. But like I think it was just white. She was just like white top exposed midriff. It's like fucking get a Tisha Torres.
Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, there was a lot of people there.
The funniest part is of all the people there, I was disappointed I couldn't find John Dodson.
Yeah, you were looking for John Dodson. Apparently, you know him.
I mean, not well. Like, he's someone who I've just had interactions with on social media. But he always seemed like a really cool guy. Like, I mean, just on those limited interactions, I always wanted to say what's up if I got this chance to see him. I mean, I think I told you at the event. When I was down in Albuquerque, like in at Jackson Wink, I saw him doing like a private, which just means like a one-on-one private session with the coach, where so he was in the octagon by himself. It just looked like they were working on striking. And I just told him afterwards, like, oh, that was cool, man. I was in the neighborhood, like I actually saw you doing a private. He's like, dude, you should have come and said hi. And I was like, I'm not trying to like bust it on your practice session. He's like, no, like next time. Like, I was like, okay, man, cool. Yeah, it was funny. I mean, I think they really appreciated some of my posts because there were a few fights that Dodson had that were very close, and I remember thinking like he definitely won them. And I did these breakdowns, like actually, scoring everything in the round in question and posting. And I don't know, for whatever reason, they really appreciated that because like I remember getting a direct message from I think it was John Dotson, or maybe it was his wife, just saying like, "Thank you so much for everything you've done for our family." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I just made a stupid video, but all right, like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I just always wanted to see him because you were like, dude, Conor McGregor's here. I'm like, I don't care. Where's John Dotson? That's the
Yeah.
important question.
Yeah. Had I not been, there was definitely moments where I kind of, part of me wanted a fanboy and ask for photos with some of these people, but part of it was like, you know what? I'm just here to enjoy the event, and they're probably just here to enjoy the event. I don't want to bother them. But I mean, it would have been, we had floor access tickets. It would have been really easy to kind of just walk. Annoying probably, but it could have been really easy for us to go up to where they're sitting, be like, hey, can I get a quick selfie or whatever? But I didn't do it. But yeah, so the co-main event, the Underground King Alvarez against Chad Money Mendez, both former UFC lightweight fighters, both lost to Conor McGregor. Interestingly enough, I don't know if that had
they're Conor's sons.
fighting each other this time in bare knuckle fighting. I think Chad Mendez was the champion. Question mark that weight class. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
I watched the fight. I was entertained by it. They both dropped each other. I think Chad got dropped a couple times. Eddie got dropped a couple times.
Yeah, Eddie early, Chad late, which is kind of how you'd expect that to go.
Yeah. I thought it was an entertaining fight. I don't watch bare knuckle like frequently. Every now and again I'll catch a highlight or something on like YouTube or whatever. But being live was definitely a more fulfilling, fun experience. Even like I said, even the fights where I didn't know the fighters put on a pretty good performance. Bare knuckle is like, I mean, it's crazy. These guys are fucking like banging each other up. And the use of no gloves, like you're being the puncher and you're possibly breaking your knuckles or hands doing that, but you're being punched. You're possibly breaking your teeth, or even if you win a fight, you're gonna walk away like pretty fucked up.
Well, but the other part too is they're not like boxers exactly.
No.
I mean, they're people who have boxed, but the level of skill compared to a similar sized boxing event is significantly lower in BKFC, but they also don't have gloves on.
Yeah.
So it's like
toughness is a weapon in BKFC. Like literally being able to take shots.
I guess.
Because if you just got a glass jaw, forget it. You're not going to last. But being able to take these powerful shots with bone on bone action, it's a little bit different than when you got gloves on. So yeah, Chad Mendez, Eddie Alvarez, BKFC. They're all 2-minute rounds, and if they're a championship fight or like a main or whatever, they're 5 rounds. So the rounds go by a little quicker than the MMA fight. MMA fights have been 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. These ones go by faster, but I mean, at the speed they're throwing these shots and the amount of damage in those 2 minutes, it's no wonder why they're only 2 minutes, not longer. I guess it's also to incite more action in those 2 minutes. But I mean, they put up a good show. I thought Alvarez. I thought Chad Mendez won. I thought he edged it out, but turned out that Eddie got the nod. He got the decision. I believe, yeah, Chad retired, and I think
again.
Yeah, again. Chad Mendez retired from I guess combat sports. And I don't remember what Eddie Alvarez's post-fight speech was, whether or not he's retiring or not, or going to keep fighting or whatever. But
would you go on a Fins and Feathers expedition?
What the hell is that?
You don't know about Fins and Feathers?
No.
Mondo. That is Chad Mendez's like
guide
service company.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I've heard about that, where he takes you fishing or hunting or something. You get to go with him.
Yeah, you could kill a moose.
Yeah,
with a tiny muscly man.
Yeah,
because it's hilarious. as jacked as Chad Mendes was, like they said he still only like weighed 166 pounds.
Yeah,
So like to be that jacked on 166, like yeah, this is a tiny little guy.
yeah, for sure. I think I said this to you during the fights. I was like, dude, they I don't think you saw to test these guys because they just looked juiced beyond juiced.
I mean, to be fair, that Chad Mendes has always looked like that. Like I think he just does have that sort of body type, and then if he can lift, and he doesn't have to worry about cutting weight. I think he would look like that regardless of extracurricular supplements.
Sure.
But I'm also not saying he wasn't. But he is one of the people that just has that sort of body.
They gave the nod to Eddie Alvarez in a split decision. He becomes the BKFC champion, I guess, unless he doesn't return to fighting. We'll see. They were both they're both not in their prime. They're both, they Chad retired and Eddie Alvarez went from UFC to, I think he did Bellator for a while, or ONE FC, or he did some other promotion.
Are you talking about after UFC?
Yeah.
He was at ONE.
Okay, yeah. So
I mean, Eddie Alvarez has been everywhere. He was at Bellator.
Yep.
Prior to the UFC, but no, afterwards he went to ONE and then ONE to BKFC.
Yeah. That was the co-main. The main was
Luke Rockhold,
Mike Perry. On paper, I knew Perry would win. I didn't think it would happen the way it happened. Rockhold has reach on him, and he's taller than him. But Rockhold's been, in his MMA background, was more of a kicker / grappler, if anything. Not so much known for his hands.
Nope.
Also, a knock on Rockhold is his chin may or may not be suspect. And
the only thing that gave me any fight or any hope for that fight being like mildly interesting was Luke's last fight in the UFC. It was just this like
tough, gritty. Yeah.
Just, I mean, kind of like it was a very BKFC-esque fight with Paulo Costa, only it was in the UFC, where they're just sort of like standing there and trading blows. And it makes me think like, yeah, maybe Paulo Costa doesn't really have like one-shot KO power because Luke was taking some of the the punches he threw, but again, not skill-wise.
Yeah.
not the highest. It really kind of reminded me of some of those like early like 2005 2006 UFC fights where it's just two guys like all gas, like zero defense, just throwing and gassing out very quickly.
Yeah.
But Mike Perry does have a little bit more one-shot knockout power.
Yeah, and Mike Perry, just the fact that he's, there's that famous fight he had, I forget who he fought against, but where his nose was like clear across his face. The dude is just like tough, like for sure tough. Like tough is part of Mike Perry's, again, skill set. He's not the most technically accurate, precise. He's not the fastest hands or anything like that. He's just tough and happens to have decent enough boxing where, like, I knew he was going to win. The fight was stopped, I think, after the second round or during the second round. It was kind of weird, like how it happened. I don't know what was going on. I kind of thought Luke was just mentally not there from the get-go, because all the pre-fight stuff, he was being a little too jovial, a little too happy with Mike Perry. And I just thought, like, this is just a money grab for Luke. Like, it's just for him. He's just there for money. And at any given point where he can tap out, or he can, wave the white flag, he was going to do it. Apparently, he got like a pretty nasty split lip, and some of his teeth were cracked, is what happened. And so that's how they waved they called the fight. Like, Luke may have said something to the referee, or the referee saw enough that Luke was just too fucked up and was like, fight's over. And
I think that was like a verbal like throwing in the towel.
Yeah.
I think he was just like, I'm done.
Yeah, I can't feel my mouth. My teeth are falling out of my mouth. I'm done.
Good call by Luke. Honestly, like,
he's got to protect that pretty face for his modeling career.
I mean, also though, it wasn't going to get any better for him.
No,
like I don't think that was one where he's like, yeah, I'm going to turn the tide. Luke is not cut from the same cloth as Eddie Alvarez.
No,
Luke certainly has like a lot more natural ability and physical talent and this, that, and the other. And guys like Eddie Alvarez have to
Make
get
up
by on just being fucking tough. And
Yeah.
Luke wasn't going to turn that around. So
Luke,
good call, Luke.
Luke did not use his reach well at all. Like Perry was just able to get inside him, like really, like close the distance, and just you know,
Well, exactly though, because here's the thing: Luke Rockhold has never had to develop that skill set,
yeah,
right? Because in MMA, if Mike Perry closed the distance and got into that range,
grapple him.
yeah, it would have been perfect. Luke's like, oh great, you're now we're in grappling range. I can lock up with you. I can clinch. I can throw knees. I could see there were times where like he had him almost in that like plum clinch,
Yeah.
and he just wanted to blast him in the
Yeah.
face. He's like, oh, I can't.
Yeah.
Can't hit him in the. You know what? I think honestly, if Luke really wanted out of the fight, that's how he should have done it.
Yeah.
He should have gotten a plum clinch and just drilled a knee.
Drill the knee to his body and like, oops, I got DQ'd. Oh well.
So, because if that had been an MMA fight as over the hill as Luke Rockhold is, it would have not even been close.
Yeah. But again, from where I'm standing, for the most part, I had an enjoyable experience. Would I go to BKFC again? If there's names that draw me into it, yeah, maybe. Will I go if it's at that venue? Again, maybe. I wasn't really a big fan of that venue, but
I would go to BKFC again if BKFC asked me personally. They gave me like a box, and I also want a like VIP parking spot.
Actually, the boxes weren't that expensive. The boxes were like $100 a ticket or something like that.
No, I want my own box.
Oh,
I don't want other people in there.
All right. But that was it. That was
BKFC. If you're listening, those are my terms. Take it or leave it.
Aaron will do some graphic work for you if you get him a box seat. Probably.
Oh, the one thing at the very end I wish I had done, I just didn't have enough energy, is when we were like walking back to the parking structure. We saw there was like a little group of fighters, and there was Curtis Blades, fairly well known UFC fighter.
Yep.
And then there's also Ben Tynan of. I'm like, there's really no fame, none attached. I mean, you told me about you overheard some guy like talking to him in the bathroom.
So I was in the one of my trips to the restrooms. Ben Tynan was like maybe 2 or 3 people behind me, and some like random drunk fucking not very knowledgeable MMA guy was like, "Hey, you look like a fighter. Do you fight?" And then Ben was like, "Yeah, I fight MMA." He's like, "Oh yeah, what do you fight for?" He's like, "LFA." He's like, "What's LFA?" Well, it's like a regional promotion, kind of a feeder league for the UFC. But it was just like a funny back and forth that this fucking drunk dumb shit didn't know who. Not that, granted, had I not watched LFA live a couple times, and I wouldn't know who Ben Tynan was either. But you don't ask a guy that clearly looks kind of like a fighter, like, "Hey, do you fight?" Like, it's just drunken fucking MMA fans.
So you told me that, and then we saw them standing on the corner.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't so tired, this 100% would have done. I would have gone up to them and like kind of facing Curtis Blades at first, and been like, "Bro, oh my god!" And then like turn like, "This is Ben Tynan! Holy shit! Like it's Ben Tynan!" Just and then memeing Ben Tynan would have been funny. I think he would have gotten a kick out of it, because that dude seems like he's got a sense of humor just about life in general.
Sure.
And then I would have been like, "Dude, I'm just fucking around. Like I work for LFA, and I just didn't have the energy to try to like seek out those sort of interactions." Mondo, all that said, if we walk away from this event and don't get sick from that fucking dickhead coughing, then I count it a success. But like, yeah, unless my conditions are met, BKFC,
yeah,
I'm not going again. Ball's in your court.
Did you want to add anything else to the episode before we wrap it up, sir?
No.
Thank you guys for listening and watching and all that shit. We will talk to you guys next week. Hopefully Aaron will have a little more energy in.
I've also been watching the Sacramento Kings Golden State Warriors game.
Yeah.
This entire I've watched every game in this series, so I'm like, I've got to see the last one.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys in a week. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Fucking Ben